President, please be seated. The court is back in session, and the floor is given to the co-prosecutor and also to the lead co-lawyer to put question to this witness. You may now proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon, Mr. Witness. I'll be picking up. Can you hear me? I'll be picking up where my colleague left off this morning. You were talking about a leader from the North Zone who came with Kai Pak to the first January dam, whose name was Chon. Mr. Witness, we have a document in evidence, E3 2165, which is a list from S21 of prisoners from the Old North Zone or Central Zone. Number 21 on that list is a person named Kom Chan alias Chon, who is identified as the Secretary of Sector 43. My question to you, was your district, Santuk District, part of Sector 43 of the North Zone? And does this refresh your recollection that the person named Chon, who you saw at the first January Dam worksite, was the leader of Sector 43?
Answer. Kai Pak was at Barai district, Kampong Thom. He was in Chan Laong village. He was in Chan Laong village, Barai district, Kampong Thom province.
I'm asking you about the person named Chon, who was with Kai Pak at the first January Dam site. Do you remember, was this person Chon, was he the secretary or leader of Sector 43 of the North Zone?
John was at the North Zone. I did not know his village or commune.
Mr. Witness, do you remember a period where the local leaders of the Khmer Rouge in the North Zone were arrested or disappeared and were replaced by people from the Southwest Zone?
Answer. I did not recall it.
Let me read something as part of your testimony in your OCIJ interview, D-166-156. It's document again, D-166/156, ERN Khmer 00321-785, English 00330-718, French 00402-981. This is what you testified in your OCIJ interview. Quote, I do not remember the name of the commune chiefs in the Khmer Rouge regime, but they were all taken to be killed. End of quote. And at the start of the very next page of your interview, in describing a district combatant unit in which you worked, you stated, and I quote, "The unit chairmen were killed in the Khmer Rouge regime," end of quote. Can you please tell us what happened to these local cadres in your area, such as the commune chiefs and unit chairmen, who you testified were killed during the Khmer Rouge regime?
Answer. They killed all unit chiefs who were arrested. I did not know where they were killed.
When did this take place? Was this while you were working at the 1st January dam, before you went to the 1st January dam, or after you were working at that dam? Can you tell us when it was that they killed these people?
It was after the 1st January dam worksite. It was after working at the 1st January dam site.
And who was it that replaced the commune chiefs and unit chairmen who were killed?
Answer. It was Ki, Lum, Khun, and Mom.
Were these people from your area, or were these people who came from a different part of the country?
Answer. They were from different parts of the country, from different villages, communes, and districts.
Were any of them cadres from the southwest zone, from either Takao or Kempat?
Answer. I did not know about that.
I want to go back to the 1st January dam and ask you a few questions to clarify a little bit about the role of your commune, Kampong Tama, in the construction of the 1st and 6th January dams. First, is it correct that your commune, Kampong Tama, was bordered on the south by the Stung Chanit River and on the north by the Tang Krasang River? Is that correct?
Answer. Jinet River was to the south of Kampong Tmo Pagoda. It was not to the south, it was to the north.
What about the Tang Krasang River? Was that in your commune or was that in a different part of Santuk district?
Answer, it was in Tang Krasang commune, in the commune's office, district office rather.
And in addition to the dam and bridge that was being built on the Stung Chanit, were there canals being built throughout your commune, Kampong Tama?
Answer, no.
Do you remember how many people from your commune were working on the 1st January dam? Was it most of the people from the commune or just a small number of people from the commune?
All communes in Santuk districts. So 10,000s of workers were gathered from Santuk district to the work sites. And these workers were living in the Santuk district. As I stated, all workers were sent from Santuk district, and the 1st January dam site was a major and huge work site. So there were 10,000 of workers working at that site.
And the workers from Santuk district that you're talking about, were they all working in your commune, Kampong Tama commune?
Answer, yes, they worked in Kampong Tama commune.
Thank you. I have a few follow-up questions to some of the things my colleague asked you about this morning. You said that there were small wooden latrines that were built in your part of the work site. Can you tell us what was done with the sewage or waste from those latrines? Where was it disposed of?
Answer, the waste was at the place. No one took the waste out of the latrines. So waste and rubbish was everywhere at the sleeping quarter.
And my colleague read to you part of your OCIJ interview in which you testified that one of the Khmer Rouge leaders who you saw at the work site spoke over a loudspeaker and, in your words, quote, ordered the militiamen to order the people to work faster. In this testimony, you referred to militiamen at the work site. Can you please tell us who were the militiamen who were at the 1st January dam work site?
Answer, there were many militiamen. They were On Chain. On Chain was the chief of militia unchanged.
ហើយក្រៅមកទៀតឆ្លប់
And as I stated, there were many militiamen.
These militia, were they people at the commune level, district level, sector, or zone? And this person you identify as the chief of militia, was he chief of militia for a certain commune or a certain district? Can you tell us a little bit more about who these militia were, where they came from?
Answer. Militiamen were at the commune, Kampong Tmor commune.
So this person that you named as the chief of militia, you're saying he was the chief of the Kampong Tom militia, or Kampong Tama militia? Do I understand correctly?
Yes, you're right.
What was the role of the militiamen who were at the 1st January dam site? What did they do there?
Answer. Militiamen walked around and guard workers who did the earth carrying work and who dug the ground.
Did these militiamen have weapons?
Answer. Militiamen had weapons, that is carbine. They had the Chinese made rifle.
I'm going to come back to some more questions about the militia in a little bit. I want to turn first to another subject that you talk about in your OCIJ interview, which is the arrests of former Lon Nol soldiers. In your interview, D166/156, ERN references Khmer 00321-786, English 00330-719, French 00402-982. You stated that you worked for a period as a commune militiaman in Kampong Tama, and you gave the following testimony. Question: when you were a militiaman at that time, how many people did you see arrested? Answer: I saw them arrest approximately 50 people. I believe that many of the people were accused of being policemen, soldiers, or spies. End of quote. My first question for you, how did Kampong Tama commune go about identifying which people were former Lon Nol soldiers or policemen? How was it that those people were identified by the commune?
ដឹងឬ
Answer. The reason that I know is that people were divided into new people and base people, and as I stated, people were divided into new and based ones.
Let me ask you this. When the new people arrived in your commune after April 1975, were they required to provide biographies with their personal backgrounds?
Answer. Chief of communes went around and gathered the personal biography. I was not the one who did that.
And when you said that many of the people arrested were policemen and soldiers, do you remember whether these were people who had certain ranks, or was anyone who was identified as a former policeman or soldier subject to arrest?
បាទដែលចាប់
Answer. No matter one or was a policeman or a soldier, even the base person was arrested if they committed a mistake.
And when you say if they committed a mistake, what type of mistakes are you talking about?
បាទកំហុស
Answer. The mistake means the fact that when they assigned us to go to work and we got sick, we did not go to work, we would be punished. Or if we were lazy, we would be considered the one against them, so we would be punished.
When the commune militia arrested these former soldiers and policemen, where were they taken?
Answer. I did not know where they were sent to.
In your OCIJ statement, and this is at pages Khmer 00321, 786 through 87, English 00330, 719 through 720, French 00402, 982 through 983. You discussed a security office that was located in Tabeng Kaung, and you also stated that the commune militia stayed at either Kong Sao or Tabeng Kaung. My question to you, Kong Sao village, when the commune was based there, was there a commune office in Kong Sao, or where was it that the commune militia stayed when you were in Kong Sao village?
Answer. Kong Sao was not the commune, it was the office. So militiamen did not stay in the commune. And as I stated, there was no Kong Sao commune. It was actually a Kong Sao village in one particular commune.
The translation may have got mixed up. I was referring to Kong Sao village. You indicated that the commune militia stayed there. My question was there an office in Kong Sao village where the militia stayed?
Answer. There was no office, and militiamen would stay in the shelters or houses.
Was Kong Sao village a big place? Did many people live there during the Khmer Rouge regime?
Answer. It was a small village, and there were about 60 houses in that village.
Did you know a person from Kong Sao village named Ut Seng who worked at the 1st January dam for a period? Do you remember Ut Seng?
Answer. I do not know this person.
Ut Seng lived in Kong Sao village, and he testified in this courtroom on the 2nd and 3rd of June this year, and he remembers you. He testified that most of the time he saw you working in the villages, but he confirmed that he saw you once at the 1st January dam worksite. And let me read to you what he testified in this trial. This is from E1 309.1, E1/309.1 at 13:55:54. This is what he testified about the time he saw you at the 1st January dam. Quote, "I saw him pass by. He was in charge of people in Sao village, so he could walk past to the worksite where his people were working. Perhaps he went there to visit his workers from Kong Sao village." End of quote. My question to you, Mr. Witness, during the time that you were commune militia based in Kong Sao village, did you visit the 1st January dam site to visit the workers from that village?
Answer. It was the time that I was carrying earth, and I was with the other workers doing the same job, that is carrying earth.
How far was Kong Sao village from the place where you worked at the 1st January dam? Was it close or was it far away?
answer. I could not give my estimates. I do not know how far it was.
I want to read another excerpt from your OCIJ interview. This is at Khmer 00321-786, English 00330-719, and French 00402-982. This is what you testified in regards to how people were arrested during the time you were in the commune militia. Quote, "The orders to arrest people were given from the district and provincial levels. They sent a letter to Tlang, who you later identify as the commune chief, and Tlang orally gave me the order. When I arrested people, I was told the names of the people to be arrested. The people to be arrested were called to attend a meeting at the commune, and those people were tied, put into trucks, and taken to be killed." End of quote. My first question, how did you know that the arrest orders came from the district or provincial level?
I did not know which level the order came from. I only knew that it came from the upper echelon or upper Angka. The only word we heard at the time was Angka, and that order came from the Angka at the above, at the upper level for the arrest of those people.
ដឹងពីថ្នាក់ណាមក
However, allow me to specify that I did not know at exact level the order came.
And when you said that people to be arrested were called to a meeting at the commune, where exactly was it that these people were called to? Was it to the commune office, or what was the location where people who were arrested were called to go to?
They were taken to the commune's office.
And where was the commune office in Kampong Tama?
It was to the lower part of the first January dam. And the location was to the north of Kampong Tamo Pagoda.
I want to ask you now a few questions on another subject, which concerns what happened to the Cham people in your commune. In your OCIJ interview, D166-156, at Khmer 00321-787, English 00330-719, French 00402-982, you stated that there were a number of Cham who had been evacuated to your village, that some of those Cham families had been sent to other places, and others had been arrested. And I also want to read to you what Boot Seng, the person who from Kang Sao village, testified about the Cham families there. In his interview, E3 5267 at Khmer 00271-411, English 00282-357, French 00482-935, he provided the following testimony about the Cham families who lived in Kong Sao village. Quote, "The Cham people were also killed during that era. One day when I was awakening, all the Cham in my village suddenly disappeared. There were 10 Cham families in my village, and of the 10 families, just one person was still alive. At the time, she was away working in the district mobile unit." Mr. Witness, you were in the commune militia. You've testified that there were Cham who were arrested. Can you tell us who it was that ordered the arrests of the Cham people in Kampong Tama commune?
The Cham people were arrested with the order coming down from the sector and the provincial level. The commune chief went to receive those instructions, and when he returns to the commune, he implemented the instruction.
Do you remember what year it was that this happened?
I cannot recall it.
Do you know whether lists were made of all the Cham people who lived in your commune before they were arrested?
I do not know about that.
The last the last subject I want to cover with you before I cede the floor to the civil parties concerns your position in the commune militia, and I want to give you an opportunity to respond to some testimony we've heard from Ut Seng. In Ut Seng's OCIJ interview at E3/5267, E3/5267, ERN Khmer 00271-410, English 00282-356-57, and French 00482-935. This is what Ut Seng testified about you and your position during the Khmer Rouge regime. Quote, "In the sub-district, there were security personnel who monitored. They carried clubs and knives, and the knives were covered with dry blood. So on our own, we became afraid of dying. There was a chief executioner named Lun. He had a bicycle, and he carried a sword on his bicycle. Today, he is living at Kwai Village, Kampong Tama Sub-District, Santuk District. In 1979, when the Vietnamese arrived, Lun was arrested and imprisoned." End of quote. The first thing I'd like to ask you about, Mr. Witness, is it Is it correct, Mr. Witness, that you were arrested and imprisoned by the Kampong Thom court after the Khmer Rouge regime fell in 1979?
But
Yes, I was accused of being a village chief and a Khmer Rouge leader. So I was arrested and imprisoned in Kampong Thom.
And during the period that you were in the commune militia in Kampong Thom, what was your position? Was there any period in which you were the chief of the Kampong Thom militia?
No, I was not a commune militia. I worked as a militiaman for the protection of my village, not for the commune.
And Mr. Witness, in your OCIJ interview, and this is D166/156, ERN Khmer 00321-787, English 00330-720, French 00402-983. You stated that you, and I quote, stopped working as a militiaman in 1977 because I did not follow their orders when they ordered me to kill people. I was ordered to get on the truck with the people that they arrested and brought to the security office at Tabeng Kaung. I was ordered to kill people, but I did not obey. End of quote. Mr. Witness, in another part of your OCIJ interview on the previous page, in regards to orders you received from your commune chief to arrest people, this is what you said, quote, "If I had not followed their orders when I went to arrest someone, I would have been killed," end of quote. My question for you, Mr. Witness, is the truth that in order to survive, you had to follow all the orders you received from your superiors, including orders to arrest and orders to execute?
but
Yes, that's what happened at the time. If one disobeyed the instruction, that person will be dead. And if we poke our finger into their affair, then we would be dead too. That's what happened as a reality on the ground during the regime. We had to strictly adhere to the instruction or order, otherwise we would not be spared. For instance, I myself almost died during the regime. I kept fleeing from time to time.
I have one more question before I pass the floor to the civil parties. In the excerpt I read to you, you indicated that you had received orders from your superiors to kill people. What types of people did your superiors order you to kill during the Khmer Rouge regime?
There was no need to have the type of people to be killed, regardless they were bad people or new people. As long as they were accused of making mistakes, they would be taken away and killed. Whether the offense was stealing rice or stealing potato, or to steal any type of fruit or food, as once the person was caught, then the person would not be spared. And that was what happened during the regime, and that was what I observed. And people, once the starvation hit, he or she could not stand it and would resort to stealing. And if he or she was caught, then he or she would be taken away and killed. People were living in an inhumane condition. We lived in a condition worse than that of the animals. It would be difficult to imagine that some people survived the regime. We could hardly breathe. We did not have any type of freedom of speech at all, and we were very afraid of making any mistake by saying anything out aloud.
Thank you for answering my questions today, Mr. Witness. Mr. President, I'll end our questions at this time.
President and the International Lead Co-Lawyer for Civil Parties, you have the floor.
Merci, Monsieur.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon to all of you. Good afternoon, witness. My name is Marie-Guy Guiraud. I am a civil party lawyer, and I have a few brief questions to put to you regarding your role as a militiaman in Kampong Tama commune and on the role of the militia on the 1 January dam work site. So my first question that I would like to put to you is how were you recruited in order to become a commune militiaman?
People who were recruited to join the militia force were those who showed respect to the Khmer rules. And of course, we knew that they didn't trust us, and we didn't trust them as well. But usually, they only recruited those who were uneducated or illiterate. So they would blindly follow the instructions. And that's my testimony of the recruitment process at the time.
You told the investigators back then in the document that we've been quoting from since the beginning of the day, that is a D166/156, French ERN 004-02981, English 00330719, Khmer 00321785. You said that you had been sent to the combatant unit at the district after 17 April 1975. So my question is the following. Was it necessary to be a combatant to be recruited as a militiaman, or could anyone become a militiaman?
When they had when they trusted us, then we would be selected to join the militia, and usually they would recruit or select one or two people from this unit or that unit to join the force.
How old were the militiamen in general?
I cannot say about the age of the militiamen.
You just told us that people were recruited within the units. So did I understand your testimony correctly? So that it was within the work units that the militiamen were recruited. Is that correct?
Yes, they recruited people from the work units, for instance, from a mobile unit, or from a plowing unit, or from those who worked in the rice fields, transplanting rice or rice seedlings.
You also said a little earlier on that militiamen had rifles. So were the militiamen trained in any way when they joined the militia?
No, there was no training for them.
Dans
In the same statement, at the same ER ends, you stated with regard to the SLOP, the secret militia, you told us that there were 12 members. Can you tell us where these 12 members came from, how old they were? Do you remember a few elements regarding them that you may share with us today?
No, I cannot recall their age. I can only recall some of the members of the unit.
មនុស្សនៅច្រើនភូមិ
Those people came from different villages, namely Prasad, Tu, Tropang Pring, etc. So they were selected from various villages, and I did not know every one of them.
When you tell me that they were chosen, did they have the possibility, and did you have the possibility of refusing to join the militia?
I, in fact, didn't want to join them, but I was afraid, as I was being monitored at that time. I was living with the villagers, and I had sympathy for them, as I saw them not having enough food to eat. And you could say that I was a thief, as I stole rice for them. They were given only 3 cans of rice cooked in a large pot for a large group of people, and that was apparently not enough. So I secretly stole some food and some rice and given to those people, and they were very happy with that. So at that time, my group of 3 people, that is chief, deputy, and member, we drilled a hole underneath in order to steal rice from the rice barn. And as a result of what I did for those people, they survived, and they included some of the former teachers who were educated people. If they were to live elsewhere, they would not be survived. And in fact, there was a request for them to be transferred to live elsewhere, and if I were to allow that, then they would be killed. But I refused to honor that request, and I kept them with me, and those teachers survived. And here I am being frank with you. On the issue of the militia, it was routine work for me to administer the village from the perspective of the militia in order to provide security, to know about the activities in the village. And this is still a current practice in the village level. And please don't confuse that security force as the force that I was in charge was one tasked with killing people. No, it was the opposite. I was there to protect the village and to protect the lives of my villagers.
Thank you, witness, for being so frank with me. So were the militiamen recruited secretly? Did the villagers and the workers knew who was a militiaman and who wasn't?
At that time, even the village chief would not even know that his day would come. We lived in an empty space, in the dark. We didn't know anything about it. And of course, they put people to monitor the activities of everyone, regardless of their status, whether they were villagers or they were part of the village leadership. In Kongsao village, where I lived, people understood my generosity, my kindness, and sometimes they offered me cooked rice. They brought the rice to me. And even after, they would kill their chicken in order to cook food for me. But I must tell you that at that time I refused to eat those rice or chicken, because if I were to do so, then I would be accused of betraying Ongka, betraying the upper echelon. So I refused, and then I would eat commonly with my villagers.
I'd like to interrupt you, witness, because I have very little time, and I would like you to answer my questions as succinctly as possible, if you can. I would like to quote a passage from Hun Sen's statement. He was heard on the 3rd of June 2015 before this chamber, and this is what he stated. We could not know whether they were militiamen because we were all dressed in black attire. Do you confirm this, that it was impossible to make the distinction between militias and non-militias because soldiers all dressed in dark attire?
Yes, that is correct. The black attire applied across the board for ordinary villagers and for militiamen as well. What I mean is that militiamen dressed in black attire as ordinary people, and even soldiers were wearing black attire as well.
Est-ce que les miliciens étaient intégrés au
Were the militias integrated within the units and kept watch over the workers within the units?
Answer. Militiamen also worked with people, and everyone was in the field helping farming and transplanting. Militiamen were originated from the peasant families, and everyone was working in the field. Militiamen also worked with us. But they had additional tasks to watch over people in the villages. And why? Because it was afraid that people would not live along with each other or had problems with each other. That is the additional task of militiamen.
Je vous remercie.
Thank you. When you were interviewed by the investigators, this is what you stated, and we are still dealing with document D166/156, and the ERNs are same as those referred to earlier. You said you were ordered to keep an eye on the repertory and to control what was happening in the kitchen. Was this one of the tasks assigned to militias at the time?
Answer. Yes, they received such order. As for me, I did not do like what you have just described. And if people wanted to eat, I would give food secretly to people, because everyone wanted to live. And anyone who came to me, whether regardless of where they were from, I would give them food to eat secretly.
Est-ce que les miliciens avaient pour responsabilité
Were the militiamen tasked with finding out who did not go to work and forcing them to go to work? Was that one of the tasks assigned to the militiamen?
Answer. Many militiamen died already. There is only 2 or 3 militiamen survived at the period. In 1979, people were killed by the people because those people committed bad things, and after 1979, some of them were killed by ordinary people. If one did the job or task without considering the bad and the good, and then they would not live until today. And people kill, ordinary people got angry and killed those people who committed bad things after 1979. And I believe if one experienced Pol Pot regime or the genocidal regime, they would understand. Many people were killed during that period. And for the young generation, they do not believe that the first January dam site was built by manual labor. They believe that it was built by machineries. And there were dams, there were canals, because it was the result of manual labor because we were carrying earth at that time, doing different jobs.
Je vous remercie pour revenir aux différentes tâches.
Thank you for talking about the different tasks carried out by militiamen. I would like to quote out two other passages of witnesses who testified and have appeared before this chamber. We are still with Ukraine, and the transcript is 1/E1/309.1. And he was testifying at about 10:30, and I quote what he said. In each village, there were militiamen in plain clothes, watching the people, listening in through doors, particularly people of the 17th April. All conversations of those people, of the 17th April people, were listened to. And they talked about food and gruel. We also heard Seng Sorida, a civil party, testify before this chamber, and his transcript E1/308.1. That witness civil party testified at about 10:36. He said there were also soldiers in the village, and they watch over the 17 April people. Witness, were you tasked with watching over people, watching over the 17 April people in particular?
Answer. At that time, I was working with people, and as for new people, rather, the new people were identified as the fact that they were former teacher and policemen, and some died because of their former position. Why the militiamen or the commune the people knew that some new people were former teacher or policemen, so there was a contradiction among own people. Some new people reported to the commune that certain individuals were former policemen, soldier or teacher. Base people would not focusing on how to find out and search for the former people, former soldier and militaries. And as I stated, many people were killed in the regime. And why many people were killed? Because of the stance of the regime at that time. During that time, there was a request to remove two people, for example, into the fishing fields, but at that time I considered that it was the trick from them, and if I were not there at that region, many people would be killed. When I was working at that place, I hated no one because I knew that everyone was Khmer.
Thank you, says counsel. Thank you, witness. And the court will take good note of your good deeds during the democratic Kampuchea regime. I have a last question on the role of militiamen, and I would like to quote a passage of the statement made by a witness who appeared before this chamber on the 26th of May 2015. I'm quoting transcript E1/305.1, and that person is talking about the role of militiamen as regards newly married persons. And let me read out to you what that person stated, and I'll let you react to it. This is what the witness stated. After my marriage, militiamen came to watch over me. They came to see whether we were consummating the marriage, whether we were rejoicing or celebrating the ritual of burning incense. If we had burnt incense, we would have been led away and executed. And later on, in the following answer, the witness stated, they came to watch over me and my husband in the first day, and the witness ends by saying, militiamen came to watch over all newly married persons. How did these things happen in your commune, witness? Were militiamen tasked with watching over newly married couples in your commune?
Answer: no, it's not true. No one was tasked with watching over people. It is not true what was stated by individual. I was in my commune. It's a shame to mention like this. And this individual did not mention accurately. I was working in the commune. Why I did not know about that? There was no such incident. So it is not a human being at all to mention such a thing. And if one does not know the tradition, culture, and nation, he or she should not live in this world. In that period, if we did not know Khmer, we did not recognize the nation, if we did not honor the pagoda, it was an shame for them. And during that time, there were no pagodas. Currently, there are many pagodas, and there are monks, but killing and arguments happen. And as I stated, during that period, there was nothing pagoda monks. I believe every one of you is aware of that regime, and we try to prevent the reoccurrence of that regime. So we must hate that regime. The young generation is being instructed and indoctrinated by parents that the regime was very bad. President, I noticed you was on your feet, so you can proceed. Counsel, Mr. President, I think the response of this witness does not relate to the question posed by lead co-lawyer. President, now it is time for a short break, and we will take a short break from now on until 3 p.m. And you run out of time, lead co-lawyer. So again, please come back at 3 p.m. Court officers, please facilitate a proper room for this witness and the duty counsel, and please invite the witness and also duty counsel